about how long you want to run this session, Joe?
Less than 3 hours.
Yeah, perfect.
All right. Well, now after being so rudely interrupted by Lionel here, yes,
that wasn't rudely. I was polite when I interrupted.
He was very politely on his interruption. Yes. All right. Tonight's going to be our first session of Sewer City Sorrows, where we will follow the tale of 3 intrepid potential guards in the city of Alekia, and their never-ending struggle to rid the world of evil, be it in the form of a criminal or the form of something a bit more abstract. What we're going to be doing here to start this session off is I'm going to ask each player individually to kind of do a brief character description and a little bit about what they're thinking and what they're doing as they prepare for their first night as guardsmen in the most terrible district of Alekia, this massive trade city that borders on the ocean. And we'll start off with Dan here. Can you give us a little description of your character and what he might be up to? You don't have to give us your top secrets, but just a brief overview.
Sure. Romlin Lorlon is a high elf wizard, and he's been spending most of his life as like a 2-bit crook, like swindling people using his cheap magic to trick people out of their money. Eventually ran into trouble and was almost killed and was saved by some guards. So he's looking at this opportunity as almost like a kind of redemption for him for the things that he's done. Some that other players may not know. And yeah, he's still struggling with like his crooked, what's the word? Like compulsions, I guess. But he's trying to turn over a new leaf, become a little better. He wears like pretty plain clothing, but he has a peaked hat with like a brim and like a feather, and he smokes a pipe sometimes that kind of glows with blue smoke, just because he thinks it looks cool. He uses prestidigitation to just like make himself look cool every once in a while. And yeah. They call him Rom. What was that?
Thoughts or apprehensions about your first day on the watch?
He hopes that nobody sees him, because he's kind of like he's trying to avoid that kind of like chiding and taunting while he's still kind of like in that transitionary period, because it might make him like quit, basically. He's still a little vulnerable in that way. So yeah, he's hoping he's not going to see anybody he knows. Yeah. His friends call him Rom.
Cool.
All right. That's all.
All right, thank you. Harry, can you give us a little bit of a introduction to your character?
All right, so Uthal Longstride Gathakanath, I pronounced that one straight away. He is a Goliath from a quite distant tribe which no one would have heard of. He arrived at the city probably not too long ago and quickly joined the guards, seeing what they did. They move around the city a lot. They have some sort of authority. He does his duty, but he's obviously distracted by something. He's he's not quite there. So it's Longstride for his friends, and then his full name for acquaintances. I don't really want to reveal too much about why he's here.
All right, top secret stuff. I would say this would be your guys' first official day as guards in this town. You may have done training and stuff beforehand, but this would be your first day. You guys would also know that it's kind of just started to rain, so your first day on the job would get to be extra miserable on top of everything else. Hopefully, you all don't mind the rain too much. I know Goliath deals with snow on a regular basis, so this shouldn't be too terrible.
Rom looks miserable in the rain. Like he's just soaking wet. His hat is just drooping, so he's almost like the brim is like over his face, so he can like hardly see. You see like a mage hand appear and just like lift it up, like shake off the water and put it back on his head.
Yeah. So we'll go to our third and final person here, Olo Bilberry. Perhaps you can do a little introduction.
Yeah. Olo is he kind of flips his auburn hair that is wet with the rain and it's kind of dipped down into his eyes. He flips it aside, kind of with a little kind of. He looks up to the large Goliath that he was using for shelter, who has kind of shuffled his feet and moved away. So he kind of settles back up behind him so they could use him to block some of the rain. He's bent over this book that he's been feverishly writing in since their shift started. On the front is kind of crudely etched Olo's cooking book. And he's writing his latest culinary masterpiece recipe into this book. He's a Lightfoot halfling. Presents himself as a wizard to his friends, and when he got work as a guard here in the city, he thought what drew him to the city was desire to be a world-renowned chef and cook. Unfortunately, he has fallen on hard times, it being a lot harder to start up a cooking shop than he had thought. So he just happened to stumble along following some elf into this guard barracks, and lo and behold, they were hiring guards. And he applied. Olo's young, looks very young, small, very unimposing stature. And he asks a lot of questions. I'll leave it at that.
Great. You all were applying at roughly the same time. I don't think you guys knew each other too well prior to becoming guards. Maybe you've seen each other in passing once or twice. I know Bilberry, Little Fox over here, might be a little bit impressed with his wizard companion, but you guys, when you applied, you found it rather strange. They were offering to pay guards for this section of the city $1 a day for their work, which for a relatively untrained position is a seemingly astronomical sum of money. And you figured there had to be some sort of strings attached. And when you signed your papers to become official town's guards, they were quite clear that this would be paid in full at the end of every week, assuming, of course, that you did not die in the line of service. So aside from that one minor detail, which won't matter because you'd be dead anyway, right? Dead people don't need money. You seem like it's a good deal. I mean, there can't possibly be a mortality rate, turnover rate that high as a guard anyway, right? And you guys all show up. You know, you step out into the rain. As you said, it's cold, it's miserable, it's damp. The water, the sound of rain is filling the airs. And as you guys kind of head towards the center of town, you find the location that you had all signed up in, which is the barracks. It's not so much a barracks as it is an old, disgusting guard tower that's seen better days. The buildings around you, they kind of ooze with just grime, dirt, and almost like decay. You would have almost felt like perhaps the rain would wash the stench of this town away, but it's almost as if this rain has almost kind of unearthed the overpowering stench of feces that's been dried on the concrete floors, or not concrete, but perhaps stone pavers. And as you guys walk up to the tower, you kind of look it over, and you see a rickety-looking guard tower in dire need of repair. And you guys look it over, and you figure it can't be the worst, right? I mean, you've been in the area you've talked to people. You've never been here as an actual guard, especially during the rain. And as you guys enter the building, it's even worse on the inside. The stones are somewhat decayed. The the walls are almost kind of yellowing from just mildew, just disgusting stuff. And to make it all the better, the ground itself, even though you're inside of a building, it's just covered in puddles of water leaking from every direction, seemingly in this poorly maintained facility. And you figure maybe they spend all the money on new recruits and not so much on maintenance, which is a very strange strategy. But as you guys walk in, you notice to the right of you, you see a large supply room through some barred windows of a locked door. And you guys kind of enter the main central area of this tower. You see two tables sitting there, and they're surrounded with decrepit-looking chairs. And the left table is empty, and on the right table, you see your coworkers. Uh, Perhaps a motley group at best. Some might call these people the best of the best, or others might call them the worst of the worst. And the realistic people would probably just say these are the only people they can get. You guys would see a strange, very serious, dour, almost looking elf guard sitting there. He has green hair, black eyes. He's just very serious, very down to business. And contrasted next to him, you would see this female halfling woman, this short individual with auburn hair, dark eyes, and she's rather athletic and very gregarious. She's trying to force a smile out of the elf, but he's just completely belligerent to any notion of happiness. And next to the two of those non-humanoids, you would see two humans. You would see one individual, a rather large and perhaps powerful-looking figure. If any of you have been to a tavern, you would have noticed this guy. He's perhaps an alcoholic, perhaps he's just fond of the drink, but for one reason or another, he's one of your coworkers for the day. And your last coworker, another human male, is this very shifty-looking lithe fellow. His eyes kind of peer over each one of you, kind of examining you, just kind of sizing you up, seeing if you're of any value to this organization, be it as a meat shield or a mark. He's just not too interested in you. But as you guys kind of come in and sit down, the halfling looks over your way, and she kind of smiles and says, "Oh, are you guys the new hires?"
Suppose you could say that.
You look familiar. No, maybe not. Uh, what about you, little guy?
Yeah, Ola would step forward with a big smile on his face. I'm Olo. Yep, that's me. These are my friends. Big one too.
Wow, your friend is like 9 times larger than you. That's interesting. I didn't know they hired Goliaths out here. I thought you guys never left the mountains.
We do, on occasion.
Wow, this must be quite the occasion. And she would look up at you. And how tall are you?
Like 8.5 feet.
Yeah, you're roughly about 4 times her height. And she kind of looks up. Wow, I don't know what they feed you guys up there, but it must be really, really, really large. And as she kind of looks up at you, you would kind of see Guile, your shifty-looking human counterpart guard. He would kind of smile, and he would kick the leg out from underneath her chair, and she would fall on the ground. And you'd just kind of hear this raucous laughter from the burly-looking human guard as the elf would look on in confusion at this strange spectacle.
Yeah. Olo would immediately go forward and say, "Oh, you seem to have fallen there. Let me help you up." And he would help her up.
Oh, yeah, uh, Guile, he's a bit of a joker. She kind of takes your hand and stands up. Uh, yeah, don't mind him. He likes to play funny games. I like funny games too, but oh, wait, and as she says that, you see on the other side of the room, you notice there's a door that leads to a small office, and the doorknob kind of jiggles ever so slightly as it kind of opens, revealing yet another individual. This one, though, is a corporal, as military ranks would tell you. He's wearing the two chevrons, or whatever type of denomination you might be well familiar with in this instance. And you can tell by his name tag, this guy is Corporal Laggard. And this kind of, he's like this fat, unkempt looking human guy. You can tell he hasn't shaved in what seems like weeks. His 5 o'clock shadow has kind of evolved into almost like a half beard of just unmaintained, just wretchedness. And he would kind of look up to you guys, your counterparts kind of stiffening up a bit, and he would say, "All right, gentlemen and ladies, all right, let's stand up right here. Boss is coming in." And behind him, you would see your guys' official boss. This would be Sergeant Evernight, this rather tall and older-looking half-elf woman. She has this long blonde hair that's kind of tied up into a tight bun. Her eyes have these just deep bags underneath them, as if she's never slept, never rested, as if she has to put up with the shit of a bunch of dumb people on a regular basis for far too many years. And as she kind of enters, she kind of looks to you. She says, "Oh, we have new individuals here. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?"
Rom steps forward. Guardsman Rom Lorelon, ma'am. Nice to
Uh,
meet you.
okay. I honestly, I have something to tell you. I was saying that to be polite. I actually don't want to hear what you have to say. Please don't interrupt me, okay?
Next time I'll
And
save you the time, ma'am.
yes, if you survive a week, then I would love to hear your introduction. You spoke a little fast for me there, but no, I'm not trying to be mean. It's a bit sad times these days. But let me get to briefing, and we'll talk about it, okay? And yeah, yes. What do you want?
Olo slowly raises. Now, can't remember, but meals are included, right?
No,
Oh, okay.
no. I mean, if you're in the barracks, there may be food here to eat, but I'm not your chef. I think a gold a day is more than fair wages for untrained individuals. Perhaps when you become trained, you can afford a bit higher pay, but not yet. I'm sorry. And she would kind of let out this sigh, and she would grab a stack of papers from her desk and kind of look them over, and she would just be like very kind of almost defeated from having worked here for so long. After just taking a moment to kind of get her bearings, she would kind of look over the three of you, and then back to her papers, and she would kind of hold back a slight sniffle, and she would just begin reading one of these papers, and she would say, "I would like to thank everyone who attended services for our coworkers who fell protecting the city from criminals seeking to destroy it. It's quite the unfortunate circumstances. I had no idea that those individuals they were in contact with members of a professional gang, but I'm glad to see that we have new hires here. Hopefully, you guys are vaguely as competent as them. Hopefully, you can get the assistance you need if something bad happens. But on to the actual briefing itself here. Mayor Ardor, how many of you are from this town? You guys all look like you're from out of town, right?
I'm from here, ma'am.
Uh,
I don't know if she really wants us to answer that question.
I remember you. Weren't you attacked by a sorcerer or something? You look vaguely familiar.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I'm glad to see that you lived. Well, it must have all been a misunderstanding. They got the perpetrator. He was a different elf, and as she says that, the other elf at the table, your cohort, would kind of lower his head a bit and not say anything. Well, regardless, Mayor Ardor, he's been giving us some pass down, and he says to stay on the lookout for kidnappers on the streets. His sources say that elves in particular, although this is, I would say this is a bit of a guess on his parts. Elves in particular have been kidnapping women and selling them to unknown third parties. If you guys find anything out on this, can you please notify me immediately, or at the very least, if I'm not here, perhaps Corporal Laggard. And she would kind of look to him, and he would kind of perk up, waking back up, almost as if he had nodded off during her speech. Yes, or Corporal Laggard. She would just kind of give him this like angry look, but say nothing outright. Uh, all right. If you have anything else to notify me about, I guess you can speak your piece now if you have any questions. Otherwise, I'm going to give you your deployment. And you do have permission to speak, just not about yourselves. Nothing? That's great. I love it when nobody has anything to say. You guys don't have any pass down since you're all new here anyway. So for your deployments here, let me look and you grab the stack of papers and appeal through them all. All right, Brightheart and Guile, and you would see the halfling woman and the human male who had tripped her would kind of perk up a bit. We've heard numerous reports of horses having their shoes stolen. I trust you two can get to the bottom of this. I've had a lot of complaints about this, and I know it seems rather mundane, but there's just something a bit strange about it that someone would go to such effort to steal such a low value item. But I'm sure you could figure this out. She would hand the pair strange pile of documents, and they would kind of look it over, and then you'd see the two just walk out. All right, Kenai and Hardy. You would see the elf would stand up, and the somewhat rough and tumble looking human would stand up. We've had a few witnesses who may have seen some of these kidnappings. Can you guys go speak with them? I know there's a few of them at the local tavern. Don't, and she would look over to Hardy. Please, this is not an excuse to indulge in alcohol. I will have someone out there to check in Hardy. I really don't have to discipline you again. And Hardy would completely act as if nothing was said, and he would nod, and the pair would walk out, leaving just you four and Corporal Laggard. She would say, and for you trainees, Corporal Laggard here, he's going to show you the ropes of how to operate in this city, okay? Listen to everything he says, and try not to question him too much. He really doesn't like any questions. I know I don't. She would kind of stare at the elf for a second, who spoke without being given permission to earlier. Yes, just do a bit of the street patrol, and he'll try to teach you the basics. All right. This will be my last chance to speak with you tonight. Do you have any other last questions before I leave you to Corporal here?
Ma'am, do you have any nets?
You're gonna have to speak to Corporal Laggard about that. He handles the equipment.
You nod.
Okay. And just beware, of course, we have a lot of equipment here to give you guys. Just be responsible for it. If any of it is damaged, it does come out of your pay. You probably don't want much of this equipment anyway, to be honest. And she would just kind of nod and walk out, leaving you alone with your boss for the day, Corporal Laggard, the unkempt, disgusting-looking human, who you could only imagine how he has this position, even though he doesn't seem to give the slightest care for his own personal appearance.
I'd use prestidigitation to make him smell a lot better.
He would kind of be completely oblivious to this, and he would just...
I wouldn't be.
Yeah. He would be completely oblivious to this, and he would, after a bit of talking with you guys, he might notice something a bit off. All right, let me see. Who do we have here? We have Romwin, Uthal, and no, I guess I should say your last names. Bilberry, Longstride, and Lorelei. Is that
Laurelon,
right?
sir.
Yes, Lorelei.
Laurelon.
Don't interrupt me. I'm speaking. All right. If you guys need any equipment here, I can check it out to you. I know most of it is awful, but beggars can't be choosers. And he would walk the three of you over to the supply closet, and he would look at you. What, do you guys need any equipment here? I know you guys are all. He would look, especially to the halfling, professional adventurers. But surely you can't.
I'm a wizard. I'm a wizard, sir.
I'm
In
sure,
training, but I am a wizard nonetheless.
Yes, I'm sure.
Oh, you're a wizard, Olo.
Oh.
Where'd you study? And he's kind of like shuffling through the grappling hooks and like the ball bearings and some nets. And...
That is rather interesting. That I haven't formally studied. I actually was the Cinder Boy. I swept out the hearths in the wizard shop, though. So I heard them.
So you took up an apprenticeship.
No, well, not
That's a good way to go about it.
not formally. I was kind of working on it when I kind of ran into some problems, and I needed to leave. So
Sounds like your knowledge in the art of wizardry is about as tall as you are.
I can be taller, and I use prestidigitation to make myself appear to grow several inches taller, and then I pop back down. See, simple as that. Magic is actually really rather simple for my folk.
Clearly. Here, I'll show you my magic spell. And he kind of puts his hands at his side. Watch this. If I tap my legs, I can grow 3 inches taller too. He touches himself on the legs, and you see him stand on his tippy toes. Ooh, I'm a wizard.
Yeah. So when he says that, hey Laggard, you want to see a real magic trick? And he like has his hand like this, and he goes up within 5 feet, and he just goes like this, and the illusion that he keeps over his face is dispelled, and you just see like this horrible scar covering half of his face, just like all gnarled and warped. And then he snaps his fingers, and his face goes back to normal.
And as he sees this fat guardsman kind of step back and kind of trip into the door behind him, and it wouldn't give it all, and he would kind of slide back down to the ground. He would say, "Oh, what is wrong with you? I heard that things had happened to you, but oh man, you're an ugly motherfucker. Jesus.
Yeah,
I would kill myself if I looked like that. Holy."
Luckily, I know a few tricks, and it does come in handy. And he pats him on the shoulder. All right, let's go.
All right, you know what would be an even better trick is if you could just fix your face permanently. But I guess you're not that good of a wizard yet, are you?
I'm working on it.
And Giant Man, do you need any equipments?
Quick question, like out of character. It's just the stuff that I've bought with the starting money. Is that like already
No,
what
this
I've got?
is whatever you bought is whatever you have. This is if any supplies you might need that you did not either could not or did not buy.
Okay, no, okay, cool. He just sort of picks up an axe and just immediately drops it with this look of disgust and just shakes his head.
All right, all right, all right. So you need a net, right? Do you guys need anything else? Because I have this little tingling in the back of my head that says you dumb fucks are gonna forget something.
Ball
So-
bearings, a grappling hook, and he's just like going over what he took.
All right, so you need a net. I know we don't check out ball bearings. That's dumb as hell. I don't know why we would check out Marble Star recruits. They already play too many games as it is. But yes, give me a moment, and you would see him kind of grab this key off his belt. He would put it into the door, and with a click, it would open up, and you would see this room with just the floor would be damp. You would smell the mildew. It would be powerful, and there'd just be all kinds of gear. There'd be ring mail that's just tattered. You'd see moldy looking leather armor. You would just see chain shirts that have seen better days, and weapons that are either rusty or misshapen at best. Perhaps the kind of stuff that the blacksmith couldn't sell to actual citizens and gave a bulk discount to the guardsmen here. Yes, one net. Here it is. Yes, he grabbed a net off the wall and tosses it at you. Why do you need a net for? You got some sort of magic trick there, wizard man?
You'll see. And he just like puts it into like a ball, basically. It'll be pretty easy to throw.
All right. Here we go. And he would sign you he'd offer you a piece of paper. You gotta sign it out here.
Yeah, he signs with his mage hand.
All right. Just so you know, you lose this net. That's five silver out of your paycheck for today. So make sure to bring it back.
Yeah, all right.
And with that, he kind of puts the paperwork back on the desk in the room and locks the door behind him. All right. I guess I don't have to check these out to you. Nobody ever seems to want them. And he would kind of point to the other side of the hallway, and you'd see these cloaks, these disgusting smelling, mildewy looking cloaks. These are our guards' cloaks here. They signify you as a guard around these parts. I'd suggest you take them, not if not for the authority, just at least to have something to protect you from the rain. They're pretty rainproof, and as he says that, kind of shows you one of the cloaks, and it smells as if something's been growing in here for a while. It keeps the rain out mostly.
Yeah. Yeah, Ram would take one, and as you see him touch it, you just see like this wave of dirt just like falling off and getting cleaned off, and it looks brand spanking new when it's done. He's going to use prestidigitation to fix it up and clean it. And he'll do the same for the other two.
Huh. That's quite the neat trick. You might be a good cloak cleaner if this job doesn't work out for you.
I dabble.
You only need one hand to do that, right?
Yes.
All right, that's good. If you lose one hand, that could be a backup opportunity. Not that anything ever happens bad here, aside from the other day. But yes. I guess we can get out of here, gentlemen and giants.
Yeah. And as Ram's like walking out, he does like a few hand signs, and then you just see like these runes shing, appear and surround him, and then like fade away as he casts mage armor.
I guess you are a wizard. A bit better than your friend, I see, but that's nothing too proud to be proud of.
Yeah, no more does the corporal say that when Olo does the same thing and the same runes appear around him. But he just uses prestidigitation to make the symboling, just the images of the runes appear. He doesn't actually cast mage armor on himself because he does not know that spell,
He
but
kind of
he puts on the effect.
give me a deception check.
All right.
I can already tell you with the roll of a 1 here. He's like, wow, that did you teach him that spell? It looked pretty immaculate, I have to say.
I'm gonna see if I'll notice. What did you roll?
I got a 23.
Oh, jeez.
Ooh.
I am an
23.
accomplished wizard.
So it'll be investigation, right?
Ash sweeper.
Just
22. Like, yeah, I got a 22. So he kind of like feel like there's something maybe not right, but he doesn't say anything.
it makes sense. He did say he was a wizard.
Yeah.
Maybe you can talk to his tutor later. But that's the time for another day. Enough lollygagging. And he would lead the 3 of you out into the streets, and you'd kind of just feel the dreary water, just trying to douse out and extinguish the passion of your very first day on the job. You guys would kind of go through these streets, and they'd be almost abandoned at this point. The weather here is cold and just miserable, and you knew that if the city was perhaps just a few more 100 miles north, it'd probably be snowing right now. Something your Goliath associate probably know pretty well from his years as a tribal hunter, so on and so forth. And you said you're a ranger, right, Harry?
Yep.
And I'm assuming that you're specialized. Are you the old or the new ranger?
The new one.
What is your favorite enemy, just for reference?
Beasts.
Okay, beasts. Okay, that's good. Yeah, so the 3 of you would begin walking down the streets, and your corporal would look at you. He would say, "Oh, I forgot to give you these guys in the office," and he'd hand each of you a whistle. These are signal whistles, okay? The last group I had through here, dumb as hell, did not understand how to use a signal whistle. Okay, there's three options when you're using these whistles. Option 1 is blow once. That means I need help. If you blow twice, that means everything's okay. If you blow 3 times, you're a madman and everyone thinks you're weird, okay? So try not to blow more than once. If you do blow more than once, then something's weird. I don't know. Just, if you need help, call it out. Somebody will be there. Or at least be there to clean up your body if you die. But just try to be professional with this, okay? And as he's trying to explain this to you guys, he sees the smile on his face and he says, "Shut up." And as you guys get walking, you hear this strange sound from around maybe an alley or 2 over. It sounds like the cries of something. Can you each give me a perception check? It's very muffled sounding from where you guys are.
Oh, crit.
Oh, dang.
21.
Crit.
Oh, you guys
Hey!
I got a 23. No, 21. I'm copying the elf.
clearly.
Yeah, you just see his huge ears just like perk.
What did our ranger get?
14? Did it come up on the screen?
No, you have to be using a camera.
Oh.
Yeah.
You have to be displaying something for it to show up. I display a black screen and it shows up still all the same. There you go. Yeah.
Oh,
That works
I
better.
am black because it's my room and it's dark.
Yeah, for sure. The darkness is what I am. My camera is always on. But yeah, the 3 of you all hear it. Although the other 2 who rolled natural 20s, you can decipher it as the crying of a young girl, and she seems to be sniffling about her lost mother. And with your roll, you can tell if you were to go about 2 streets over, you'd probably be able to find her. And with that, your corporal doesn't seem to notice. He keeps walking. completely unfazed by that.
I think Rom and Olo would just kind of like give a sidelong glance to each other, and then just Rom would do like the SWAT hand signal, be like, "This way, 1, that way, 2 blocks." And when nobody notices, he's just like, "Hey, I hear something."
And the Corporal Laggard, he would kind of pause for a moment. He says, What is it, man? Do you hear something? What's up?
This way, follow me.
Well, what is it?
I hear it too. Sounds like it's a little girl. She's crying.
Why didn't you speak up sooner? Fucking rookies. Lead the way. Lead the way. Well, just Jesus. Shouldn't have to hold your hands. And he follows after you, and the two of you followed closely behind by your ranger, I imagine, would kind of cross around the corner, and you would just see this young half-elf child would be sitting underneath one of the awnings of these buildings, and she would just be bawling her eyes out. She would kind of look over to the four of you, your corporal included, and she would just sniffle, and she would say, I'm lost. Do you guys know where I am? I'm trying to get home.
Where is your home? And Olo would take a couple of steps forward, and he has this little spear, and he would just kind of use it more as a walking stick than a spear, and he kind of just will walk up to her. Where do you live, little girl?
Oh, I live next to the tavern. And as she says this, so Dan, you said your character actually has lived here for a while?
Yeah.
You know that there's like 5 taverns in this city, so that piece of information alone is completely irrelevant to you.
Yeah, at that point, he would get a little suspicious, but he'd keep it to himself. Which tavern?
Oh, that's the one with the person on the picture. And you could tell this child's very young. She's not like a particularly good reader. She's maybe like 5 at best. And kids these days.
Describe the owner of the tavern. Who serves the drinks?
Oh, I don't know who owns it. I'm not allowed to go inside, but Mom goes there every single night. I think she must work there. She's there all the time. That's where she finds all her friends that come home with her at night.
Does your mother have many friends?
She has many friends. She has. They're always guy friends too. It's really weird. I didn't know she had so many guy friends, but she likes humans and elves a lot. I guess.
So little one, maybe you could describe the sign that hangs outside the tavern.
Yeah, there's.
Try not to leave anything out. Every detail could be important.
Yeah, there was. It's a picture of a guy. He's holding something. And she would clearly not really know how to say more beyond that.
Is it a cup?
Yes, I think it's a cup. And with that, it would kind of narrow it down to like 2 different locations in your mind. It would be like
which one's closest to here?
From what you would know, one of them would be called the Seedy Sailor. That would probably be the closer of the 2. Yeah, it's over in that area. It's right next to what you would think. Right next to one of those butcher shops. And from what you would know about the city, that sounds maybe like the Seedy Sailor. It's kind of a nastier part of town where they kind of chop up all of the different fish that get brought into the city.
Okay. I'd ask. I'm guessing this is like on the water, right? This bar.
Actually, no. The thing about this town is that the district closest to the water is the commercial district, which is a little bit more upscale. They kind of ship out all the mundane tasks out to to the ghetto, if you will, the lower class areas like this. But it would be maybe the closest to the commercial district, but it would still all just be a shit show down here.
Okay. So what would be the other bar that I would have been thinking of?
The other one is called the Lucky Liar. It's a little bit farther away. Doesn't really match the description as well, but maybe like a backup option if this doesn't work out.
Okay. All right, little girl, come with us. We'll get you your mommy.
And Liar, liar, not like George's instrument, but yes, she would kind of look at you, kind of ask to hold your hand, and Corporal Lager would kind of look at you, and he would kind of cross his arms. Well, I know I'm in charge here, but I'll just kind of codify you guys a bit. And,
yeah, he'd like hold her hand, and then it'll be like, hey, you want to see a cool trick? And then he'll let go of the hand, and the mage hand is still holding her hand.
And give me a performance check.
Okay. It's not very impressive.
What's your total score?
I do. Hold on. Performance. 7.
She would say, well, I mean, my mom can hold my hand too. I guess that's kind of a cool trick. And she would kind of look at you with like a little bit of disappointment, thinking that you were like some cool wizard. But well, I would still like to go home, I guess. And as she says this, the rain would kind of pick up a bit, and it would get a little bit rougher. And she would kind of try to squirm underneath your cloak a bit, trying to avoid the rain.
Yeah, he'd like open it up, kind of like an umbrella for her.
Thank you, mister. And you guys, would you just head right over there as fast as you can, roughly?
Yeah, probably.
All right. As the three of you get walking, you can see the tavern off in the distance. But before you guys can reach it, you notice a pair of individuals kind of stagger out of the tavern. They're looking a bit drunk and out of sorts. And as you guys step closer, you can tell that this is actually a half-elf male and his human, either wife or girlfriend. You can't tell. They're heavily drunk and just slurring their words all over the place. And the little girl would kind of shrink back and hide a bit from the pair. And you would just hear the pair bickering and bantering back and forth. And she would say, how dare you? How dare you make me pay for the tab? I know you paid the last 5 times, but I didn't have the money this time. You know how many dishes I had to wash? And the half-elf male would just kind of roll his eyes. What are you talking about? I paid for the drink this time. What are you talking about? And she would say, well, why was I washing the dishes then? And the two would just go back and forth. And eventually the human woman would just kind of get really mad at him. And she would say, are you trying to tell me you had me leave the room just so you could be alone? Were you there with that hussy? And as she says this, you kind of get this weird feeling kind of crosses the air. And she pulls a knife out. And she points it right at the half-elf, who kind of staggers back. And he says, hey, calm down. I don't want to have to cut you. And he pulls his knife out. And all of a sudden, the three of you are confronted with a bit of a situation here.
I would, Ola would step forward, and with his most commanding voice, he would say, stop! The
like,
town guard are here, and he would amplify his voice with prestidigitation to make it like actually sound like it's coming from a much larger man.
Yeah. Sure, make me an intimidation check.
All right. I'm not very intimidating, but I will give it a shot.
Yeah, but they turn around and see Uthal.
Yes,
Yep,
right.
exactly.
Exactly. Yes. Oh shoot, my intimidation. What is that? Uh,
Hopefully you have charisma as a wizard,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I got an 11.
Okay, so you kind of let out this booming voice, and the half elf man kind of looks at you. He looks back to his girlfriend, and she says, "Why is that little kid yelling at us?"
It wasn't me. It was this guy. And I thumb over my head to where Longstride is. And let me tell you, you don't want to make this guy pissed off. They're still finding pieces of the last one.
And the two of them kind of look befuddled, and they kind of just ignore you, and they go back to arguing. Oh, are you trying to tell me that you're gonna leave me for this giant guy? Do you think he's bigger than me? Well, you know what? If that's what you want, then you're gonna have to break up with me. And as he says that, the woman just kind of scowls, and she kind of brings her knife to bear, and you just see her lunge at the guy as the two begin trying to stab at each other here.
All right. When
Unless
she
you
like,
guys, you guys are gonna, I'm gonna say we're gonna roll for initiative here. Not so much that they're trying to kill you or anything, but you need to try to save them from themselves. Okay. And I'm gonna ask you guys each for your initiatives individually here, just for the sake of speed here. Rom.
10.
Rom is 10. Uthal.
12. So I have advantage.
12. And Olo got a 5.
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. The first people to act are actually these drunk people who both seem to react a little bit quicker than you guys. Are caught off guard by their sudden actions, and you just see this human woman just runs up and tries to stab the half elf right in the chest with her knife, and
Oh, geez.
you just see her just stab this guy right in the stomach, and you're caught a bit off guard as you kind of see a little bit of blood trickle out of his stomach as you just see her cut into him, and he kind of just winces in pain and he says, "Ah, bitch! I didn't even do anything." And he just pulls his knife out and he tries to stab her back as well. And yeah, he stabs her back right as well. And you just see the two of them just they seem to have a little bit of fire in their eyes, as if they want to just either kill each other or just settle. Uthal. What do you do as you see this couple start stabbing each other?
He's gonna bring out his just gigantic battle axe. Like the handle's probably as long as Olo, but it's battle axe, and he's just gonna just walk slowly forwards, and then not with the actual blade, but just like backhand with the sort of the flat head of it.
Okay.
If you imagine like a Dane axe.
Yeah, you're gonna try to non-lethally strike one of them.
Yeah.
All right.
The woman who initiated it.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Nice.
Yeah, describe how you epically fail.
You take off one of their heads.
I mean, I imagine he's just not used to hitting people that are much smaller than him, so he just swipes like 2 feet above her head.
Yeah, you
Luckily
swipe
missing.
2 feet above her head, and as you kind of try to regain your balance, you kind of step on a wet paver on the ground, and you quickly find yourself tumbling head over heels. This giant of a man slipping and falling, thrown on the ground, a bit befuddled and perplexed as he just kind of trips over himself. And with that, do you have anything else you want to do?
No, I don't think it's anything else I
Yeah,
can do.
echo.
All right. So we'll go up next to Rom. You just saw your a very strange spectacle going on here.
All right. He's just like, oh god, what have I gotten myself into? Can I use a spell non-lethally if it's catapult and I throw a net at them?
If you throw a net on them, I suppose, yeah. But
Alright. It would do
no,
3d8 damage, and they have to make a strength save to avoid getting restrained. So I don't know what you want to do with that.
I would say if you're doing 3d8 damage, that would kill them.
Okay.
I would say you can't.
Then I'll just run over and throw a net at them.
Okay, the woman or the men?
Uh, I'll go for the woman because it seems like the Goliath went for the man, right?
No, he went for the woman as well. And
I went for the lady because she initiated it.
Yeah, I'll go for the woman.
all right, go for it.
All right. She has to make. I have to make an attack, I think.
No, you have disadvantage,
Yeah.
right? Nets have disadvantage unless
Oh,
you
it
have
is?
training with them.
I don't.
All right, well. What's your total?
13.
Yeah, 13 gets it. So describe what happens here.
You just see the Goliath like sweep right over her head. Looks like it would have took her head off. And just like this guy, just throw a net at her and like restrain her. Try to pull her back away from the man and keep her from killing him.
Yeah. So you throw this net over her, and she kind of slips and collapses on the ground, and she starts crying inconsolably. And as she's crying, we're gonna head over to Olo here. What do you do as you see this strange spectacle unfold?
Yeah, so Olo is just totally confused. The most anything like a fight was really over who was going to pay the bar bill back in the small shire that he's from, and it kind of gives her this flashback to this confrontation he had with like the neighborhood bully, and he just kind of freezes for a second, and he kind of sees everything play out, and then he's just like, everybody calm down, no one needs to die here, I don't want to have to kill anybody. And he's dropped his spear not even realizing it, and he looks down, he's like, oh, and he reaches down and pulls up his spear, and he kind of pulls it out in front of him with two hands, and he goes, all right, drop the knife, you. And he just I'm just gonna, I guess, try to persuade the half-elf gentleman, to drop the knife as my action.
All right. I'm gonna have to say it's gonna have to be an intimidate check because this guy guy's drunk, and he's not open to any reason right now.
Okay. Persuasion. 13.
13. Okay, 13. Yeah. Sadly, he rolls the same as your roll plus his modifier. So this drunk guy kind of blinks for a moment as he tries to understand your threat, but he's just so drunk and so out of it, he doesn't even know what to say. And we'll go to the next in the initiative order, and the half-elf man who sees his wife or girlfriend throwing a net over, he kind of growls, and he looks to Rom, and he says, if anyone's going to throw a net over my wife, it's going to be me. And he just runs up with this knife in his hand, and he tries to just stab you, you can sense there's some vicious motives in his eyes. But with a nat 1, as he runs up to swing at you, you see he's very drunk, and he kind of trips over the Goliath, and he kind of tumbles down on top of him, awkwardly landing on the stomach of this Goliath. He kind of stares into his eyes. You see this drunken haze over his face, and you can just smell the booze kind of billowing from his mouth as this drunk guy is just kind of out of it. And next we have the human woman who's kind of in this net, and she's kind of yelling, and she's unhead me. and this drunk lady is trying her best to kind of get out of the net. I'll allow her to make an action to get out, but it'll be a disadvantage because she's drunk and has no idea what's going on. She's like underwater, essentially.
It's DC 13 strength.
Yeah, with a 6 and a 2, you see her kind of get more and more tangled up. At this point, this woman is kind of tied up. She's essentially hog-tied herself in this net. This human woman is just kind of bound, almost gagged underneath this strange net that's over her. And Uthul, I believe it's your turn. You have a drunk man kind of almost half passed out on your stomach. He's trying to stab your friends.
Well, I want to try and sort of grab him, flip him over so that he's on his back on the ground, and just sort of pin him there, so kind of like a grapple.
Yeah, roll me an athletics check, and if you beat him, I'll say that you can just kind of wrestle him and kind of pin him on the ground.
Right.
Got a 15.
Wrestle him.
Wrestle him.
That is a 20.
Yeah, with a 20, you easily manage to overpower this drunk guy. You kind of slam him down on the ground as you kind of pin him there.
Do not move. And he just stares like into this guy's eyes with his glowing blue eyes.
And with that, we're going to go to Rom here. You see the woman is tied up. The other individual is pinned down by your Goliath associates. And all the while, you notice that the little girl that was with you is kind of ran over and hid behind Corporal Laggard, who is watching from a safe distance away, kind of judging. He's judging you. You see, you almost can see him writing notes down about the half, or about the Goliath who slipped and fell.
Yeah. Rom would unsheath his sword and kind of like point it down at the ground, not necessarily at the woman, just like out and unsheathed. And he'd shout, "Cut it out, you two! Or I'll knock you out and put you in the cells."
And with that, I would say one of them being completely netted and the other one being pinned down by this giant behemoth of a man. The two of them kind of realize that they've goofed up at this point, and the woman starts crying, and the man looks rather ashamed. He's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have drank those last 6 cups." Oh.
Yeah, he kicks away the knives, picks them up with Mage Hand, and puts them in Laggard's hands.
Yeah, Laggard has like this sack he kind of carries around that he uses for either evidence or confiscated goods. And Laggard kind of looks over to you and he says, it's a good first contact, I suppose. This is the thing about being a guard here, okay? There's the letter of the law and the spirit of the law here, okay? Just be aware that these people are in your custody now, so you're responsible for what happens to them, okay? And I'm not going to tell you what to do here. You're all grown adults. When you have this situation arise, you kind of have some options here. You can either arrest them and book them for whatever crimes they may have done. You can either put them in the holding cell overnight. You can let them go, or you can escort them home, or some other crazy harebrained strategy. What do you guys want to do with these drunks?
I think Rom would want to keep them overnight in the drunk tank.
What about you two? Big guy, tiny man.
Sounds like a good idea to me.
Yes.
We're liable to kill each other again if we walk them home.
I agree. Put them in cells.
And as you say that, Corporal Laggard kind of nods. He says, "Oh, good. All right, manacle them up. You guys have manacles, right?" He kind of stares at you, expecting none of you to have manacles.
He takes out some rope.
Yeah. Olo's kind of patting down his outfit.
Oh.
Mm.
Huh. Interesting. I offered you all equipment, and none of you wanted manacles. Did you just
Rope
expect?
is more useful, sir.
Are you just expecting to hog tie and drag every person who gets in your way?
Yes, sir.
Well, God damn it, son!
Rope,
And he
rope's
just
less likely to chafe, Corporal.
stares at you. Just stares with you with dead, cold eyes. And he kind of leans in closer and says, "I don't give a flying fuck if it chafes. It's for your protection and theirs. What happens if the rope is slipped free and they find another knife on themselves and they stab you in the back? That's why you have manacles. Fucking rookies." And he grabs two manacles off the back of his armor and he hands them to you and he says, "Cuff them up." God, fucking idiots. I offer you manacles and none of you want them.
Yeah, I cuff him.
So you guys
We
you
got
guys
cups
spend
on.
a minute or two cuffing them and then he kind of looks at you and he says, "Somebody has to maintain the keep doing the patrol here. Can I leave you three alone while I book these people back into the holding cell?"
I think we can find this girl's mother by ourselves, sir.
"All right, you can't. Don't bother coming back to the barracks tonight." And he kind of ties rope around each of these individuals' manacles, and he kind of guides them back, kind of leaving the three of you as you guys head on, trying to find this girl's parents. And it's now group of four is now a group of three. Back up to four, I suppose, because you have a small child with you. But the girl kind of sniffles a bit, and she says, are those two going to be okay? I saw that they were both hurting each other."
Uh, they'll be fine. They'll be fine, little one. So is this the place here? Is this it?
She kind of looks it over and she says, "Uh, yeah, that looks like the same place. Actually, Mom says I'm not supposed to go inside, though. Are you allowed to go inside?"
Me? I'm almost 20. Don't let this size fool you, girl.
"Wow, you're the oldest child I ever saw. How'd you get so old and still be so small?"
I was born this way.
Wow,
And he'll just do a wry smile at his two compatriots.
wow, he must be really unlucky to be so tiny. When I grow up, I'm gonna be 10 feet tall." She kind of looks at the halfling and then looks at the Goliath. "He's only like 5 feet tall, right?" And she's pointing at the Goliath, clearly not understanding anything about how height works at all.
4.5 tops.
Wow, I'm gonna be twice as tall as him. That's incredible. And she kind of smiles and walks you up to the tavern. "Yeah, my mom usually works here. She says she helped clean out all the glasses. You know what that means?" She says every night she cleans out a lot of glasses here.
I mean, she's a waitress.
Yeah, she says she empties them all, makes sure they're all clean, and then hands them to some weird lady who cleans them. I don't understand, but I guess um, so. I can't go inside. Do you want to? You want to go inside?
Yes. What's your mom's name?
Oh, my mom's name is Maria.
Maria. And what does she look like? So that we might know her when we see her.
Oh, my mom. She's the most beautiful woman in the world. She's like 20 feet tall. She has my hair. It's like yellow, but it's super pretty and straight. And she's the nicest person I've ever met. You'll know her when you see her.
All right.
All right.
Don't talk to any strange people. You stay right here.
And what's your name, little one?
My name is Anna.
None. Nice to meet you, Anna. All right. Who wants to stay with Anna? And look to the other two.
I'll stay. No one will bother her with me here.
All
Ron
right,
would talk.
Mister. I have to ask, how did you get so big? I want to be big too when I grow up.
He bends down, sort of gets as low as possible. He's still probably like 2 feet taller than her, even crouching. And I ate all my vegetables and then stoop back up again.
She kind of gasps in awe. Wow, you must have ate a lot of vegetables. I guess I can't say no when Mom tries to feed me broccoli. And she kind of smiles and looks up at you as your two companions enter the bar. You guys enter the bar. You notice it's mostly empty. Not too many people wanted to venture out into the tavern at this time of the night. You notice that there's just a few of the regulars here. Rom, you would know a few of these people. And of course, you see the most familiar face of all here. You would see Hardy, your large, burly-looking guard associate, would be sitting at a table, drinking just flagon after flagon of ale. As you would see your elven associate, the other elven guard, would be sitting there talking to the tavern keep, and the pair would be chatting about criminals and so on and so forth. But nobody vaguely matching the description of her mom would be here.
All right. Ron would walk over to the guy at the bar drinking, not the guy who's in the middle of a conversation. And he'd sidle up next to him, say, "Hey, found this little girl missing her mother. We know that you're here investigating a missing woman. Do you have a description of the missing woman?"
And he's kind of paused for a moment. This is non-alcoholic. Don't worry about it. It's just water.
I'd use prestidigitation to make it taste like water.
And he would kind of take a big drink of it, and he just kind of puts it down. He's like, "Holy shit, this is water. What the fuck?" And oh man, I must have drank too much before I went to work today. Drinking water. Who the fuck drinks water? And he's kind of sitting there, and he would most of the women are. He'd be like pause for a second, thinking. Yeah, they were describing these women as a half-elf woman, an elven woman. There was even a halfling woman went missing. And he would look to you. Do you know what race the mom was?
What was she? An elf? No, she was human, right?
Human.
The girl is a half-elf. You didn't ask what her mom's race was, I believe.
I'd ask Olo to go ask the girl what race her mom is.
I'm on top of it. You can count on me. And he turns and just quickly pads out.
Yeah, you walk out, and the little girl is like kind of poking and trying to have a conversation with this scary Goliath. She doesn't seem too afraid of him, though. Yeah?
So, Anna, your mother, was she human?
She kind of thinks for a moment. Yes. I'm pretty sure my mom's a human. I'm not sure who my dad is, though. He's either Mom tells me he's either an elf or a half-elf.
Okay. And not waiting for her to finish, Olo would turn right around and run back in. Yep. She's human.
Yeah, human, blonde hair, frequents this bar.
He would kind of think, and
I think she works for you too. Makes a lot of friends, guy friends, and I'll give him a knowing wink.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. She doesn't work here though. She just drinks her every night. Maybe that's what she tells her kid to make the kid feel better. Uh, yeah, she does. She does. This isn't a brothel, just so you know. She just happens to pick up men here on a nightly basis. But no, no. I don't know. She must have. She left a few hours ago, I think maybe. I'm sure they live just probably down the street, a few blocks down, I think.
All right. He'd get up and be like, "All right, thanks." Tap the bar and go over and kind of passively listen to what the other two are talking about, the bartender and this other guy, until
Yeah, the other elf.
yeah.
Yeah, and the two would be talking, and it would be a little hard to hear the specifics of it all. But the elf would kind of be listening, and you would just hear the two talking back and forth, and the elf would say, "Yes." So you say, "Are you sure they were elves?" And the guy would kind of nod. It's interesting. So you haven't? Did you see where it happened? It always seems to be within 2 blocks of here. That's a rather strange coincidence. Yes, I understand. I assure you I am not part of the organization. And the two would go on for a moment, and the elf who you would know as Private Kenai would kind of look up, and he would look over to you, his eyes narrowing a bit. Yes. What's your name? Trainee Rom?
Um,
Yes, what brings you to this tavern? You're not part of this investigation.
we found an abandoned little girl close by, and she said her mother frequents this bar. Seems like she's missing.
He would
Uh,
kind of think for a second. Yes, I've heard about this girl. She lives I think a few blocks away. This happens quite often with her. Her mother is not the most responsible of people.
all right.
If you leave the building and you head to the right, 2 blocks up, should be the vague area where she lives. The girl should know the rest from there.
Okay. He nods, and he'd signal to Olo that we should go for now.
Yeah, and as the two of you are talking, the little girl would look up at the barbarian. He's not a barbarian; he's a Goliath. He's a ranger. Goliath barbarian always pops in my head for some reason. Mister, have you ever hurt anybody with that? And she kind of points to your weapon.
When it is required of me.
Were they all bad people?
I don't hurt good people.
Oh, that's really good. Thank you. That means a lot to me. My mom never hurts bad people either. She only hurts and she's kind of stammering a bit. She helps my mom's a nice lady. And then she would see the two of you exit the tavern at this point. So did you find where I live?
Yep, right down the street. You'd start walking with her.
And the four of you would kind of start going down the streets, and it's still pretty wet, pretty damp out here. And you would kind of get close to the area. You would see a butcher shop nearby, and she would kind of look about, kind of eyeing the area. And her eyes would perk up, and she would say, "Oh, that's where I live." And she would point to this disgusting abandoned building. You'd have to imagine it's one of those homes where just groups of homeless people live. And she would say, "Wow, this is great, guys. I'm so glad you could help me find my way home. Can
It's
I
what we do.
can I get all your names? You guys seem like the nicest people I've ever met." My name is Anna. What's your names?
Rom.
Ron. You're the second bravest wizard I've met today.
Who's the first?
Oh, this little guy. He's a guard, but he's so tiny. He has to be the bravest, right? I know I'd be scared if I was a guard.
You are quite correct. You are very wise for someone so young. I am called Olo.
Olo, you're so brave. And she would look up at the Goliath, and she would say, "Did I get your name, Goliath guy? I know you're like the strongest of the group, right?"
You may call me Longstride, little one.
Wow, Longstride. That must be because you're so tall. And as she says that, you hear the the pulling of a bowstring out of the corner of your ears. And each of you give me a perception check.
Oh shit.
That's a 9 for me.
20.
Yeah, Uthal and Rom, you hear a bowstring and you kind of look around a bit confused. And luckily, Olo notices where it's coming from. And he kind of looks up, and about a street down, you see a cloaked, hooded figure standing atop a building, and they have a bow in their hands. And they're kind of aiming the bow at you. And they say, "Oh, nice to meet you, gentlemen. You do us the honor of handing us your coin purses, and nobody has to get hurt."
Oh, how many are there?
I just see one.
Without even, like, did he actually fire the bow?
No, they pulled the bowstring back. You're a bit confused as to where they are.
I only see one.
You see one, and as you kind of see the one, you kind of notice. You see, yes, cornbread. I love cornbread. You see these two shadowy figures kind of pop out of the alleyways behind you, and you quickly notice that you're surrounded.
Correction, 3.
And I'm going to get you to the count of 3. If you don't put your coin purses on the ground, you're going to be shocked.
I'm gonna use minor illusion to make it sound like there's men on horses coming down the alleyway towards us, like guards on horses.
For sure, for sure. Go for it.
Okay. Yeah, he does that, and you just hear like this raucous, like jingling and jangling of like weapons and chainmail, and the storming of hooves and like snuffling of horses
Give me
coming from like around the corner.
Give me give me a deception check.
All right.
Well, I rolled for each of the guards, or each of these people.
I got 10.
I rolled for the 3 individuals here.
Oh shit!
None of them are buying it. They kind of smile, and the hooded figure kind of smirks and says, "We know you poor guards don't have any horsemen."
Yeah. He just says, "Oh shit," and just like pushes the girl into the.
And as you say that, you just hear the arrow fly out. You didn't quite see where she was standing from, and she fires an arrow right at you. And with that, we're going to roll for initiative after the arrow fires. Okay. Luckily, you're not caught too far off guard because your friend noticed one of them. But with a 19, you just see this hooded figure. She's like 30 feet away on top of a roof. Just fires this arrow out, and it plants you right in the chest for 8 damage.
I'm down.
Oh my lord! So yeah, you just see Rom just gets shot right in the neck.
Yeah,
he grabs. Oh god! Yeah, describe. How
I imagine I imagine he's just like, oh shit, and just like dives for the girl and like pushes her out of the way and takes an arrow.
Yeah, so you dive to protect this girl and you get an arrow right in the neck, and you just see your friend kind of collapse on the ground in a puddle of blood as this girl kind of screams, and you kind of see her trying to hide underneath the body of Rom as he just took an arrow straight in the chin. With that, we're gonna roll for initiative here.
I just rolled mine's.
Not expecting to
Second
knock out.
time it's happened.
I know. So
Yo.
I know, right?
Well, I'm a
very,
wizard this
these
time.
guys are not that strong. I just rolled max damage. You have 8 health?
Yeah, that was bad.
Is that your health?
Bad
It's
luck.
8?
Yeah, it's 8.
Alright, I'm gonna go through these again real quick. Uthal, what's yours? Initiative?
22.
22. Rum?
Oh, I got a roll too. 21.
21. And Olo?
12.
12. Okay. Alright. And as this person shoots you, out from the shadows, you see the 2 other thugs that were with them. These individuals are holding knives as well. And they kind of have like this, when you kind of see them up close, they kind of have this mad look in their eyes, like they're not all there. And with that, we're going to go, I believe Uthal is first with the 22 on the initiative.
He's as he's moving towards these 2 that popped out the alleyway during his battle axe, he's going to blow that that rape whistle once.
No!
All
Quick,
right.
find a lamppost.
Yeah, he's going to try and make an attack against one of them.
For sure, go for it.
Right, so I have advantage because they haven't done anything yet.
Time to die.
I'm using my battle axe with 2 hands because I haven't brought my shield out yet. Right. Oh, so that's 8.
Oh, you just cleave that guy in half.
Nice. Right. How do you have any house rules for crits or just?
Just the default double damage dice plus modifiers.
So is that 10 plus that's 16 damage?
16.
16.
so, yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
The modifier is not doubled. Just the
It's
dice are doubled.
3 strength, right?
That gives you plus 3 damage.
Oh, is it just plus 3? Oh, it's plus 3 to 1 damage now. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
The modifier is added
just
on
one.
top. So that's 13 damage. Yeah, describe how you kill this guy.
well, I'm sure as he's just like bringing out his knife, he just gets this axe straight into his chest, digging in like quite a lot. As he falls to the ground, Uthal puts his foot on his chest and just rips his axe out.
Yeah,
Like,
you
falls
just
to the ground.
brutalize this guy. There's just blood everywhere, and you kind of look at his now dead corpse, and you can see his skin is pale. You can see there's all these scratch marks on his skin. This guy, from your first kind of appearance, this guy looks like some sort of drug addict, and he is long gone with that much damage. And up next is Rom. You're bleeding out on the ground here. Roll me a death save.
Oh, fuck!
Oh no,
I got a 1. That's 2 fails.
that's not good. Okay.
Yeah.
Up next, we have. Jeez, you already killed a third of this. I was gonna be like, you guys already killed a third of this encounter, but they did the same to you guys. So yeah. So the archer kind of smirks a bit, proud of himself. You notice that kind of upon closer inspection, the guy you killed was a human, and the other swordsman or other knife robber man is an elf. But on the roof is a human off in the distance. They pull their bow back. They kind of narrow their eyes, and they look over to the other wizard, and they try to shoot an arrow at him. Nat 20. Okay, no. You just see the arrow fly.
I really hope not.
The arrow flies just right over your head, Olo. Not even close. It was almost like they expected you to be like a full-grown person.
Yeah.
And
He
you
just
kinda-
goes, aha! As it flies.
and with that, the archer kind of staggers back a bit, and you kind of see them turn, and they kind of tuck tail a bit, You see them run and they hop over a roof a little bit farther away, and they seem like they're like 45 feet away on top of a roof as they kind of go prone and dip out of your sight. And up next we have Olo. You see your friend is just super bleeding. You just see the blood just oozing out of his neck
Mm.
as this kind of guy has a knife and he's brandishing it against you.
Okay. How far away is the other knifeman?
He's like right up in front of you. He's like 5 feet away from you.
Okay.
You could do whatever you wish. He's not in melee with any of you yet.
Oh, okay, so he's almost in melee. So
Yeah, he's
I am
about
just, yeah. So Olo just looks at him and he just goes, points his finger and he says, "I don't want to have to," and his finger just lights up and this crackling green bolt of energy shoots out at this guy's face as I try to hit him with the Eldritch Blast.
Go for it.
Right. Ooh, that's probably not going to hit. That is a 12.
Yeah, that shot is aimed right at this guy, but you see this guy's a little bit more nimble than the drunk you
Yeah.
fought earlier, and it
Probably
just kind
helps
of
if you get
grazes.
too.
Yeah, it kind of grazes his shoulder, not quite hurting him. And
All
and as that happens, you see the man kind of rush up, and he kind of smiles a bit and lunges right at the Goliath, trying to get himself a reputation for
Look out!
beating up the giants. And with that, that is a 17 to hit.
Yeah, that hits me.
So you just see this guy kind of smile as he just jabs this knife into your stomach. You kind of can do a 6 damage as he just stabs you right in the gut.
Cool. I am still alive, so
And as you see, he stabs you deep. Like you
yeah.
can see his hand is like up against your chest. The blade is that deep, and he looks up and he sees that you're still alive, and he kind of shakes a bit and says, "Holy shit, what are you?" And with that, the little girl sees her friend passed out on the ground, and you kind of see her panic as she kind of grabs grabs your cloak and tries to compress it against your wound, trying to stop you from bleeding out. She's not exactly good at medicine, so she has to get a 15 or higher to stop you from bleeding out. But apparently, this little girl wraps this cloak around your neck so tightly that the bleeding is at least hindered to stop you from dying, at least in the immediate short term. And up next is Uthal.
Well, he's just gonna step back. He's gonna grab onto the guy's wrist, wrench out the knife, and just try and smack him with his battle axe.
Bitch slap him.
Yeah, just bitch slap him with an axe. I pressed the wrong button. So that is an 11 altogether.
Yeah.
That...
You try to pull the blade out of your stomach, and as you do so, you kind of awkwardly swing your weapon. And with the awkward motion of kind of attacking from such a close range, you kind of see him block the attack, and he kind of smiles a bit as he riposts. And you just see this thug. It's almost like he was waiting for you to make an opening, as he takes a reaction and tries to stab at you again.
Shit.
That time it's a 17 again.
Yep.
And that's 5 more damage, unless you want to do something about it.
Well, it's still my turn, right?
Yes, you can use a
actually
reaction on
use-
your turn.
I don't think there's actually anything I can do.
You're Goliath.
Oh, yeah, I can reduce that damage. Let me roll a d12 plus anything? I can't remember.
It's a D12 plus your con, I believe.
Yeah, sounds right. D12, D12 plus con. So let's clear that. So I reduce that by 10. So
Yeah, so this guy, he thinks he catches you off guard, and he tries to stab you right in the gut. But you kind of just flex. Just the power of your flex causes the blade to bounce off it. And he kind of looks, and he's like, what is wrong with you? Are you some sort of monster? And he kind of looks like a bit more panicked at this. And you see him kind of shaking a bit, but he kind of looks and sees that his ally is dead on the ground, and this is his only chance to make this quick buck, so you don't think he's going to be running anytime soon. And with that, we're going to go to Rom. I'll let you roll a d20. On a 20, you can get back up. That's about it.
Nope. I'm still down.
So Rom is sitting there wearing what looks like a formerly mildewy cloak as a scarf at the moment, as this little girl kind of cowers a bit. The archer, who was kind of far back off, kind of pokes her head up. She kind of stands up and pulls back on the bowstring, narrows her sights on the halfling, and fires a shot at him. And that'll be...
Cover, guys.
Yeah, it's a 7. The arrow flies right over your head. And you kind of see this woman, she kind of smirks and ducks back down on the ground. You can't. She's so far away, and when she goes prone, she's almost invisible at this rate. And next up is Olo. You just saw your friend get his wound wrapped up, and Goliath got stabbed a bunch of times.
He may hate me for this, but Olo goes. He reaches into his little pouch with his left hand, and he goes. He says this foreign arcane word, and he goes, "Eshash!" And he throws this dust out, and it shoots out across Longstride and his assailant, and they both have to make a save or fall asleep.
You're casting sleep?
Yeah, I'm casting sleep, and I'm centering it.
There's no saving throw.
Yeah, there's no save.
Yeah,
There's no save?
You just roll the amount.
You just roll, yeah.
Nice. 5d8.
Thanks for that.
It starts with the lowest HP guy.
I know.
This could go really badly. I don't think you hurt this guy.
5, 10, 15, 21 hit points of mobs I put asleep.
I'm currently on 7.
Yeah, so you cast the spell.
Asleep.
So 14 hit points.
Yeah. So you cast a spell, and you look at your Goliath, and then you look at this elf with a knife.
Oh, fuck, he's an elf!
I did say he was an elf, didn't I?
No.
No.
I did say
you did.
I did say he was an elf.
You did say he was an elf.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
Oh, no!
So,
Elves are immune to magical sleep. That's right.
Yeah, they are, man.
I'm gonna tell you a secret. When I made this encounter, that was not in the back of my mind at all. But
That's okay because Ola wouldn't know that.
Oh.
It's okay. So the Goliath just immediately just passes out on the ground, and it's not looking good for you guys. As all right, up next is this elf. He kind of looks at you, and he kind of smiles as he kind of readies his dagger, and he says, "I'm gonna tell you a secret, boy. Elves are immune to sleep." And he runs up and tries to stab you in the stomach.
Maybe the little girl can wake him up.
That's about it.
Well,
That's a 15 to hit.
Yeah.
So this dagger stabs right into your stomach for fuck, dude, these rolls are
man,
outrageous.
you're rolling well.
That's 6 damage.
Yeah.
As this guy stabs you in the gut, and you kind of wince as you feel this blood just kind of soaking into your clothing. And as you are looking there, you kind of see your life flashing before your eyes. You're not sure how it came to this, but you're questioning your life choices. And as Uthal is not waking up, the little girl runs over and she starts shaking him. Can you please wake up? Please wake up. Uthal, you're the strongest person I know. And she uses her action to wake up the Goliath, who kind of groggily wakes up. His body is sore, from the stabbings, and you see your associates, Little Fox, Olo, kind of getting stabbed. He's almost down as well. What do you do, Uthal?
Just staggers to his feet, bringing his battle axe behind him with both hands, and just trying to just reach back and just bring it down on this this elf's head. With a 15.
That definitely hits.
Cool. So I know right button. 2 hands. That is 13 damage.
Describe how you killed this elf too.
Well, I imagine just splits his head straight in two.
Gallagher's him.
Down, like probably down his part of his neck as well.
Oh god.
What?
And with that display, you just kind of hear this retching off in the distance. And you can see the archer as they kind of stand up. You just see them immediately just turn and start running. Just running out of sight. And with that, I believe we're done with this combat encounter for now.
See how I distracted him by making him think you were asleep? I'm a smart wizard.
He just
God.
crouches down, puts a hand on Ola's wound, and says, "Do not do that again." As he's just covering up this wound.
Point made. Point made. Elves don't fall asleep. And I guess I would stagger over to our compatriot, the elven wizard, and like slap his face a little bit. Come on, wake up, wake up.
He is super out at this point, and the little girl starts sniffling, and she says, "Is he going to be okay?"
He's gonna be fine. And Olo winces himself. You know, he can just feel his guts just feel like they're on fire where the knife was driven in. Tell you what. Maybe you could show us where you and your mom live. And Longstride could carry our elven friend here.
And as she says that, she kind of looks, kind of like a bit of shame in her eyes. She kind of looks to the decrepit-looking house she lives in. I don't really know if you guys want to come in here. It's really dirty. And as she says that, you kind of see the footsteps of a few individuals come up behind you, and you see Hardy and Kenai kind of catch up with you. The pair hearing your whistle as they kind of get up to the scene, and they're like, "What the hell happened here, guys?"
Just Uthal just turns with blood just still dripping out from his drenched battle axe, like, "We were attacked. I dealt with it.
Oh, so
We have wounded."
oh, how many people did you capture?
Capture. Just
Well, you're gonna have to interrogate them, right?
one
you
ran
didn't-
off. We'll hunt them down.
Not like that. You aren't. All right, let's take you back to Boss Man. You're gonna have to give her quite the explanation of what happened here. And the elf Kenai kind of winces a bit as he looks at all of your injuries. All three of you, I imagine, look ridiculously badly injured. Obviously, I think the worst of the worst is Rom, who got an arrow in the neck. Little Fox, who got just stabbed right in the gut pretty bad. And then badly injured, but not quite as bad as your Goliath, who's just a brick shithouse of muscle. And yeah, so the elf kind of helps the two of you who are injured kind of walk a little bit. I know it's a little bit of a walk, but you guys are going to have to head back to the facilities to get treated. And Hardy, this kind of big, burly, alcoholic-smelling guy, his breath smells like alcohol, but Actually, it smells a little bit like water today for some strange reason, but which doesn't have a smell. Maybe you've cured him of his alcoholism. He kind of looks at this unconscious elf and he just sighs. He just says, "Fucking rookies, man." And he just picks up your semi-lifeless body, and the two of them kind of help the three of you back to the barracks for the evening. And as you kind of are all dropped inside there, your Sergeant
Hey,
Evernight.
Joe.
Yeah.
Joe, would you allow me just to do this one little thing before we leave Anna?
Yeah, sure.
Right. So Olo's standing over by Anna as what is it? Kenai and Hardy run up. He kind of looks and smiles at seeing help, and turns back to Anna and he says, "All right, we won. We'll be going." And he winces from his wound, and he goes, "You be safe. If you ever need any help," and he would just tell her where the old guard tower is, and you just ask for Olo. My friends, and he leans in close and he says, "My friends like you, they call me Little Fox." And he tries to smile, but as he does so, he's got like a little bit of blood at the corner of his mouth, and he's like, "You be safe." And that's when he'll hobble off.
Yeah, and as you're hobbling off, she kind of smiles and she kind of says, "Oh, thank you, Little Fox. Can you tell him I'm sorry? It's nothing personal." And she kind of
he will look over his shoulder and say, "Yes, I will."
and she kind of smiles and says, "Well, not for that, but thank you." And she enters the building, and the three of you kind of hobble your way, drag your way back into the building, and as you get there, Sergeant Evernight kind of looks at this spectacle, and she is like perplexed as to how this happened. Oh, what did you guys do? I gave you a simple patrol, and you all almost die.
We were beset upon by at least a dozen men, half of them archers.
All right, roll deception.
Shit. That's not bad. That's a 19. Oh, shit.
Yeah, she's used to hearing bullshit. She says,
well, maybe there wasn't quite a dozen.
Right. I'm gonna tell you something here. It's a criminal offense to falsify reports. I don't want to never want to hear you have to lie about that again. She kind of just gives you the stern look, like surprised that you would be lying to her as your friend is sitting here on the brink of death. But as she kind of asks you guys about what happened, she kind of looks over the wound and she kind of bandages it up a bit better than the kid was. You can tell she knows how to do proper medicine. And eventually, Private, well, he's not your friend. Yes, Private Brightheart kind of enters in there with her partner, Private Guile. The two of them are looking a bit happy. They figured out a clue or two about the case, and they see Rom just kind of sprawled out on the table, and she kind of gasps, and she says, "Oh no, I have to fix this." She kind of walks up and she kind of whispers into your ear. She says, "Please don't leave us. It's too soon." And as she says that, she casts healing ward on you, and you recover 5 health. As you kind of gasp back into life.
All right. Yeah, he's just like laying there with like ragged gasps, and then she whispers in his ear, and he just inhales, just sits bolt upright, and you just see like this nasty gash in his neck, just like closing up.
So what happened? And all of your coworkers are at this point kind of watching the spectacle that is this triumvirate of rookies.
We were trying to find the little girl's mother. Took her home. Then we were ambushed. When I went to interpose myself and get her into cover, I was shot in the neck. Thankfully, my partners here were able to clean up after I was put out of commission.
Oh, and Guile, this sly-looking human guard, he says, "Oh, what was the girl's name?"
Anna,
Anna. I love Anna. She's the best.
let me guess. Was that Mark?
Well, he looks and he says, "Well, I don't see a coin purse on you anymore.
I look down.
Your money is gone, dude."
Oh, motherfucker, he says.
Yeah, she's one of the local gutter rats, if you will. Her mom's an alcoholic. She gets the money for her drinking from her little child. Quite the cute little scamp. It's nothing personal. She's a good girl after all, but she has to help pay for her mother's habits.
They almost killed me.
Oh, she's not involved with any of the robbers. She likes to pick her marks a little. Did she like hide in your cloak? She likes doing that.
Damn it! Should have seen that coming. It's the oldest trick in the book.
And you quickly
Little children.
realize that
Children.
you quickly realize that she actually had robbed you way before you guys got ambushed, and that was just incidental. And Olo probably realizes that she apologized for robbing you, not so much for the other stuff, because she felt kind of bad about it, but she can't go back on it at this point.
Olo, yeah, when that realization strikes him, he looks over like he's gonna tell Rom, and then he's like, "No, better I not say that anything."
So, well, at the very least, we got some good information out of this, right? So what did they say, those people you captured?
What people?
And Guile just kind of looks and he rolls his eyes. And Brightheart, I bet you these rookies didn't even capture anybody, did they? And Brightheart kind of giggles. Well, they're rookies. What do you want?
I must say that Longstride handled himself admirably. He saved our fallen comrade, and yes, while we didn't take any prisoners, he was able to save his life. I believe that that's more important. I did see one that ran away, and I could describe. Well, maybe I can't really describe her very well, but I do know that it was a woman.
It was a woman, 30 feet away on top of a roof, in the middle of the night.
Yeah, no, I was going to totally lie and make it up.
And
But then I
you're a
realized I
halfling,
probably would
right?
get caught.
So
Yeah.
you don't even have dark vision, so you just saw a silhouette and a voice. And Guile's like, "Oh, what did she look like?"
It was too dark. She's quite a distance away. The rain.
Well, I will say this: you did help us narrow it down. That is a woman, so that cuts it down to about half the city. Great information there. Before you kill these people, maybe.
You're welcome.
Yes. Perhaps you can give us. Did you figure anything out about these individuals before you were defeated in combat? Perhaps.
Definitely. Oh no, Longstride, you go. You got a closer look than I.
Yeah, so Longstride just sitting on a like a stool with his hand, one hand covering his wound, his battle axe on his knees, and he's just picking off brain matter off his axe. They were pale-skinned, lots of scratches, although they've got a bigger one now.
Sounds like there are some druggies. Apparently, they picked the right marks. I guess they were a little unlucky though with that. And he kind of looks at this Goliath. Maybe they didn't pick the right marks. Glad you're here. He kind of looks up at this Goliath, who's just rather intimidating. You did a good thing protecting your allies. Just next time, man, kill him like that. And at this point, the sergeant just kind of interrupts, and she says, all right. All right, we're going to need some people to head back out, and apparently the three of you aren't in any condition to. So I want the three of you to rest here, and the rest of you, I know you have your duties for the day, but you're going to have to go on the watch since the rookies here messed it up. And all of your coworkers kind of scowl at you. They were expecting to be in the office doing paperwork, and now they're stuck outside doing the patrol because all three of you messed up. And they kind of give you these like evil looks. The only one who doesn't kind of scowl is the halfling, who's kind of smiling and just happy to be there. He says, "All right, well, get better, Olo, Uthal, and Ram." And so they all go.
Ram would get up. He's like, he doesn't have a shirt on because they were like messing with his wound and stuff like that. He'd get up and grab his sword and say, "I'm going back out there." And he'd kind of like wobble a little bit and like put his guard's cloak back on his like shirt. And he'd want to go back out and do his patrol.
Okay. The sergeant would kind of smile a bit, and she'd say, "Oh, you have a bit more fight left in you. Well, don't get yourself killed, boy. I would hate to have to rescue you again."
Yeah, he just like click his tongue and say, "Everyone gets one, eh?"
In some cases, it's two. She kind of looks at you in particular. But yes, Olo and Uthal, are you? Do you want to rest here for the night, or
Take
you
like
wanna
a
go
short
back out?
rest.
Yeah, I mean, you guys can take a short rest if you want.
Yeah, I'll take a short rest.
Yep.
I think I'll use a hit die.
Yeah, me too.
I think we just have. Yeah, I'm going to use my single one.
Alright, I'm back to full.
With all in thing with it.
And I get one of my spell slots back.
So I regain. Oh, exactly what I needed.
Alright. Good as new.
Okay. I'm gonna say the three of you go back out on patrol. You by just I don't know sheer force of will, the three of you and your corporal, who's a bit mad that he has to babysit you guys even longer now. The four of you head back out into the field, allowing your coworkers to not have to do paperwork. Apparently, getting a reprieve from their anger for the night, as the four of you go back to work, patrolling the streets. The rest of the night is relatively uneventful. Just a few petty squabbles and disputes. And with that, we're going to probably end the first night on the watch for the three of you guys. Very harrowing tale, to say the least. But you at least survived, perhaps a little scarred from the whole ordeal, but otherwise you seem to be okay. And with that, we're gonna end this. If you guys have any things you want to say, do, promote, whatever, you're free to do so.
All I gotta say is we're really good at being rookies. I just gotta say that. I think we're playing that role really well.
Apparently, Uthal's really good at killing people.
Yeah, that's just a Goliath greeting. Here, let me show
axe
you
to
my
the head,
axe.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
You mean to tell me they don't have stone's endurance? Interesting. All right.
But other than that, I'm good.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to end the broadcast here. It was a fun session. I was not expecting that encounter to be super deadly at all. I figured they were a lot
Level
weaker.
1.
Yeah, I know.
Level 1. 2 casters.
Yeah, but I will say surviving the first harrowing night is enough to get you guys to level 2.
Oh, nice.
Right.
But that'll be for next time.